We are live.
What's going on, everyone? I'm Chris Baker.
And I'm Ty Backer.
Welcome to episode 172 of Behind the ToolBelt with TC Backer Construction.
TC Backer. Roofing, siding, windows, gutter, solar. Roofing, siding, windows, gutter, solar. TC Backer, TC Backer.
Behind the Tool Belt is sponsored by Lead Scout. Find out more at leadscoutapp.com.
Roofers, you want at least 5 solid lead gen tactics building chemistry. Let's say you have door knocking, referral systems, job site branding, and you add in aggressive SEO, paid ads, and boom! Smells like more leads. hookagency.com.
TC Backer, TC Backer.
Back.
Boom, TC Backer family. How's everyone doing, man?
We are back.
We are back.
Back in the saddle.
Episode 172. Hopefully everyone's enjoying the lovely weather that's been blessing us here in Pennsylvania.
Oh, yes.
It's beautiful outside. Hopefully everyone's got their grills running.
Yeah,
Everything smells like fresh mowed lawns.
that's right.
Like, I'm loving
Sounds
it.
like more leads.
This is a great day. Good to be back here with you guys again here.
Yeah, for sure. It is. It's beautiful, man. I think it peaked at like 80 degree, 82. I think my truck said earlier today. A lot of good things going on. We see the flowers blooming and the trees are budding and all that stuff. The grass is being mowed. I think we've had our grass mowed twice now already.
Yep.
Things are good, man. My favorite time of year where you can sleep with the window open at night because it'll cool out, warm during the day, cool at night, turn the fan on.
That means people are getting in mode to to do their exterior home projects, right?
Right.
Yes,
Right.
sir.
It's
Yeah,
the season.
it's the season.
It is the freaking season.
Siding, windows, solar season, and gutters.
Don't forget your gutters, April showers, bring May flowers. Don't forget to get those gutters cleaned and get some gutter guards on there so you never have to clean them again.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So we got 2 special guests tonight. David Bruno's been in the studio probably more than anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, how many? Like 6, 7 times maybe?
Yeah, I don't know.
We're getting up there. We're getting
A
up
lot.
there. Hopefully not too many.
A lot. No, never.
It's
Never.
always good to be in here.
And
with you
he's
guys.
got his kid pasta with him, Jeff. We have no idea who this dude is, but we're gonna find out. And he brought his little black book. Full of notes. Brad called the office today. Was poking and prodding John about like what's the show about, what questions are they got, like trying to get the edge on us a little bit. But John told me he didn't give you much information and said that you're not being interviewed now on this phone call, so save some of that information for the podcast tonight. Not to throw you under the bus, but I did tell John that we were going to be really mean to you.
Yeah, hopefully Bruno warned you how this
And normally we embarrass David, but I think tonight, Jeff, the first appearance and impression is not going to be a good one.
I've already seen enough episodes of
Yeah.
this show to know why David asked me to come,
Yeah.
because I'm just taking the heat off of him.
Yeah.
Yes. Good. Hey, everyone needs a wingman.
Look at that. You like that?
Learning.
Like that.
right. Good
I
stuff
love it,
though.
man. Yeah.
Good stuff. So, David, you've been on a lot, and most people probably who are watching know what you do and what you're about. And of course, we're going to get into a lot of that stuff. But Jeff, tell us, give us a little bit of your background of because I noticed you did a couple things, some of which was in our industry, the roofing industry. So maybe go back a few months before that. Tell us about your experience in the roofing industry and kind of where you're at today.
Well, yeah, I worked for a company that had a special niche in that we did renovations and we did remodeling work, but we also did damage repair for the insurance industry.
Mhm.
And some of that involved repairing roofs. We certainly weren't scaled up like a company that does roofing full time, but that was part of the work that we did.
Okay.
And so I've had some experience working with end users or residents on their roofs and dealing with insurance adjusters. And so I've had some direct experience there and I learned a couple things.
Mhm.
You know?
So where was the location at? Was it here in Pennsylvania or was it?
Yes, the company was Extreme Home Improvement.
Okay. Okay, cool. Extreme. Were they extreme?
As much as we could be.
Okay. Right on. I think we all try to be.
Yeah. Did you guys have in-house employees that did the work? Was it like a subcontractor type based thing? Like
Now, the majority of the work that we did was in-house.
yeah.
There
Okay.
were times that we would use subcontractors, but we pretty much stayed with the same companies that we had good relationships with. And there are times for any company where you might get spread a little too thin, but you still have to get the work done.
Right.
So,
Right.
Of course.
Yeah,
Yeah, of
that's
course.
cool. So it sounds like you had a lot of I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Sounds like you had a lot of jack of all trades kind of thing where, you could put a guy on a roof one day, and then maybe the next day he's, cleaning up debris or
as much
tearing
as
down walls for fires or that kind of stuff. Is it that
as
kind
much
of
as we could, we would try to cross train and get some of our carpenters certified in doing restoration work as well.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
Cool.
Cool. So what did you do exactly? Were you the marketing guy? Were you a sales guy?
I was the marketing guy.
Okay. So what if you don't mind divulging some of their secrets, what did you okay, so let's start out what did you do exactly? Did you work on the Facebook ads? Did you work on the website, the SEOs, the ads, the maps? What was yeah, all of that, all the above. Yeah. So what would you say worked the best?
Well, I think for us, what my main goal was to increase our web presence as much as I could.
Mhm.
So I spent a lot of time trying to drive traffic to our website.
Okay. And that was because of if somebody searched roofer near me.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we wanted, and it was far more competitive on the restoration side of our business because we had franchises that we were dealing with that had corporate marketing departments and they
Okay.
were spending the money to be on page one at the top. But I was very
I'm not hearing
proud.
anything.
I was just proud to get on the first page.
Mhm.
And I think at the tail end of my tenure there, I know our SEO results were very good.
Okay. All right. And what do you contribute that to? What did you do to make sure that happened? Just dump more money at Google, or was there little tricks and?
No, I would, on social media, I would create content for blogs, and that was all sending people back to the website, and that was a significant contribution to our web traffic.
Okay. So did they mostly focus on digital marketing, or did they do any of the more traditional stuff?
No, it was a good mix.
Okay.
But my principal goal was to get our name out to the public
Mhm.
the best way I knew how. And
And how was that? How did you do that? How did you get their name out into the public's eye?
well, and I spent, from a branding standpoint, I threw our logo on as many things as I could. So that when people are on the internet, they see that logo, and I could tell over time when I would talk to people, you could just see, oh yeah, I saw one of your trucks driving down the street the other day.
Mhm.
But that increased, so I knew that they were recognizing the logo, and our recognition overall increased,
Mhm.
and I was very pleased. And I think for us, the challenge was that not only did we have two different wings of our company, but we were also marketing to homeowners,
Mhm. Yeah, of course.
and that's a huge group.
So for like the retail space, not necessarily just insurance work
Yes.
or restoration. I guess when I hear the word restoration, I'm thinking right away insurance, water, fire.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
So,
That's
yeah,
kind of where I went with that.
Yeah, things like that.
Trades type
Yeah,
stuff.
right.
God only knows what you run into.
Right, and you need subcontractors.
Absolutely.
You need people because it's so hard to specialize in. If you're gonna just specialize in roofing, that's one thing. But if you're gonna specialize basically on rebuilding somebody's whole entire house from
Mhm.
drywall to insulation to waterproofing basements and things like that, it's tough to find a guy,
Right.
an individual, or even
Does
a
all
crew
that
that
stuff.
does all of that. So,
Yeah.
like you said, you need to network and create partnerships with companies that you trust that are going to stand behind you and you stand behind their product to do a good job to come into these people's lives. Because let's face it, these people's lives were turned upside down,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you guys were coming in like the knight in shining armor. You got your cape on. And what did your one post say? Have a battery day? What was your one little post on there? So I stopped you.
Fantastic day.
Fantastic day, right? Like, so you're trying to have, people have a fantastic day, right? Like, so you come in and you hold your hand through this entire process. So you need an individual that works for you that goes in there and let them know that like, hey, everything's going to be fine. We'll work with your insurance company. They should cover these things. And this is what we're going to do to help you through this process.
Well, and for renovation work, one of our principal or main source of leads was the restoration side of the business.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're in doing restoration work, we might have a homeowner say, hey, I saw you on the website, or maybe one of our technicians gave the homeowner one of our brochures, and they say, hey, while you're here, we were thinking about remodeling our kitchen. Do you think you could get a quote for us?
Yeah.
But we're already in that, we're already in their dwelling. We're doing the work. They like what they see. And, it's a great way to generate more business for our company.
Okay. From the existing client.
Yeah.
Right. I just had a conversation with Doug, I think, about that today. Who's watching in the studio tonight. We were talking about, and hopefully this doesn't sound harsh, but like maximizing that referral or that existing client. Like, right, if we put a roof on somebody's home and they didn't want gutters today, but like going back 3 months from now saying, hey, are you guys ready for gutters? Because we felt like you needed gutters then.
Mm-hmm.
Is your finances different now, or whatever the case might have been
Right.
at that time? But it sounds like you guys have found a way, or they did, or you did, found a way to maximize, like, hey, while we're here, we can handle all of these other facets of construction for you as well. That's pretty cool. That's good stuff. So what are you doing now? Let's get off that. Maybe we'll circle back to it because this is one of my favorite topics.
Yeah, and that's where I originally met Jeff. Jeff and I met back when he was doing that. I had called on them because I had seen one of their trucks out and about and called on them for the Best of Lebanon Valley contest.
Mm.
That's one of the things that we've done. And then since then, we got together at some networking events, and we just continued to grow that relationship and friendship over the years. Kind of like that's one of the things I try and do. That's kind of the way I operate. It's all about relationships. And like you said, when you talk to these people, it's you might not be able to help them right now, but you just let them know, hey, we're a resource for many things above and beyond this first project we're working on with you.
Yeah. Yeah. And really, that's the clientele that you want, because we talk about this quite often, and more so now than we ever have, is that they're your brand. If they've had a great experience with you, from you during that time, especially in need, if it was a restoration type of project or just a kitchen or a bathroom or clubbing out a basement, whatever it might be, if they have a great experience, they then become your brand in a good way, right? Like, you left a good impression, right? Which we can use that word in a couple different terms or context, right? But you left a good impression, right? So now that becomes your brand. They become your brand, right? Because they're screaming from the rooftops, whatever extreme exteriors or whatever it was called, are the best. They did a great job. They walked us through this whole process. They offered financing. They were great. We're going to have them come back in the spring and do our basement. But they're telling the whole entire neighborhood. Yeah.
And for the sake of branding, it's Extreme Home Improvement and Restoration in Palmyra, Pennsylvania.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's great stuff. You know what I mean? And a good company is a good company. I mean, we can't, we don't look at that as a threat or competition. I mean, you guys have your niche, right? We have our niche. And what do they say? When tide rises, all ships rise, right? So it's if you guys have found your niche and they have great people like you to put that company out there, then they just need to cash that check that your ass just wrote. That's what we say. You know what I mean? Because you're the one branding, marketing, and screaming from the rooftops like, hey, we're a great company. Now your team has to go in behind you and make sure they cash that check that your ass just wrote.
Well, and in my experience at Extreme, there was always plenty of work to go in.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
so
for sure.
And a lot of times, we might be collaborating with another company.
Absolutely.
On a particular project. So I don't think we ever felt any type of competitiveness with other companies.
Right. No, it sounds like you're more like a GC as well. Like we would do work for a company like you. You know what I mean? We enjoy tag teaming projects and building long-term relationships. It's less branding and marketing that we have to do.
Right.
Teaming up and partnering up with companies like you and vice versa. Like if we get a call for a basement or a kitchen or something like that, and that's not our forte, we would call you guys. So it's great to have those relationships, and it's more important nowadays for those partnerships and relationships. And we talked about it before, David. That's today's currency.
Right.
Is the partnerships and the relationships and the people that we do work for today is why we're so stable.
Yeah.
And like even from the marketing perspective and the things that we do with LocaliQ in the USA Today, I mean, there are things that we encompass a lot of different avenues of marketing, but there are some things, like I said, where we work together in conjunction with our clients, other marketing partners as well, because there are some things that we feel as though we do better, and there's some things to where, we will do them, and we can do them, and we do them pretty effectively. But there are some other folks as well that is specifically what they do. So we will try and tailor our things that we do around that to just kind of encompass. So if there's somebody that's doing some hyper local stuff with you, maybe we'll cast a wider net because that's where we're going to play the best.
Right.
Yeah,
And you
that's
might
good
have a
business
bigger
opportunity.
reach.
Yeah. So it's not
integrity.
about trying to be the jack of all trades for everybody. It's just there are certain strengths that we have, certain areas of this business that we are able to attack and focus on and concentrate. Whereas some of the other folks that you're working with, they have their thing. It's just a matter of all working together and making sure that we're covering all the bases.
Right.
Yeah.
Looking out for the client's best
Absolutely.
interest. I mean,
Absolutely. That's what it's all about.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. At the end of the day. So why don't you just refresh some of our viewers what it is that you do?
Well, I'm a marketing account executive with LocaliQ. We are the marketing arm of the USA Today. So that's what we do. And we've got our people recognize us from our local newspaper properties here in Central PA. We've got the York Daily Record, Hanover Evening Sun, Chambersburg Public Opinion, and then Lebanon Daily News. But anymore, the newspapers are just one of the products that we have. We're trying to move away from that to be more recognized as LocaliQ. That just has the newspapers as an avenue for the solutions that we have, and that's not. We don't want that to be just who we are.
Yeah. Are you going more digital?
We absolutely are.
Do you want to explain like what that is, and what that looks like?
Well, we've got a number of avenues. So there are, when we look at the clientele for pretty much any business, there are the folks that the consumers that are out there, the ones who know who you are and the ones that don't. And so we're just trying to make sure that through our digital solutions, whether it be a direct mail piece, a targeted email, a mobile geofencing campaign of some events and specific neighborhoods and localities in the area, we just want to make sure that you are being seen in as many of those places as you can, with the proper messaging at the proper time to the proper audience.
Right.
That's really what it's about. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
That's awesome. And when you mean by time, you mean time of day on certain types of marketing, or time of year, time of month, week?
All of those.
All
All
of
of those. Yes, it's a seasonality. So whenever your business is concentrating on solar, for instance, versus the windows, the gutters, we want to make sure that we adjust our messaging and our target audience to where those folks are going to be the ones that we're reaching.
Right. And why is that important?
Well, because again, during the time of the year, I mean, when you are trying to say, okay, David, we're going to be focusing on windows. We want to really step up our Windows game, or we're looking at solar. We want to push the solar shingles products out there and make sure that that awareness is there. So, and I noticed that's various times of the year.
Season.
Exactly.
Right,
So
right.
that's when we're going to go ahead and adjust our message. And sometimes it's just something little as keeping the messaging the same, but maybe putting a little bit of a holiday twist to it or something like that
Yeah.
to give
Yeah.
seasonality, whether it's Easter or St. Patrick's Day or something like that, just to give a look to change up a little bit for the same message.
Let me ask you something real quick. Okay, so you say that you're going seasonal. Like, let's just say we want to start pumping windows in April. Do you change that message up in April, or how far in advance do you change that message up?
We probably look at that about a month in advance.
Yeah.
Typically, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they change. I mean, that we've used Bruno now, for a year and a half on certain
a few
things.
years, yeah.
Yeah, coming up on 2 years, and and this is the thing too. A lot of marketers get a bad rap,
Mhm.
right? Like Tim Brown and Michael Stearns, they talk about that kind of stuff all the time. A lot of people just kind of take your money, and then you don't know where it's going or what they're doing with it or what's going on. The one thing about David and LocaliQ is that there's a lot of communication there, right? There's a lot of transparency there, and of course they're the professionals, but sometimes I'm like, no, I don't want to do this, and David's kind of like, look, this is why we do things like this, and he explains and walks me through it and holds my hand, kind of like we were talking before, because we're a roofer, right? We're a roofing company, and what we've tried to become is we want to become our own marketer. You know what I mean? We're a marketing company today. Like, we're trying to brand and create brand awareness and things like that, but we can't do all of that in-house. Now, John does a great job, along with Ippy and a couple other people, and Chet, and everyone gives their feedback and busts their ass, but sometimes we have to outsource things, and that's where David comes in, because we can only reach so far, right? Like, he has a further reach with whether it be digital marketing, whether it be geo-targeting, whether it be newspaper ads, whether should even direct mail if we chose to go that route with him. I mean, there's not many avenues. And what's also cool about David is that in LocaliQ and what they do there's other markets that David would come with us, like the Greenville. I don't know if you have what your reach is down there, but I do know I see some of our friends that own roofing businesses in different areas also use LocaliQ and doing the best of the best and things like that. So that's what's really cool about LocaliQ, right? Not to take anything away from what any other marketer is doing, but you have that reach. Like, there's people that specialize in SEOs, and not that you guys don't do that, and AdWords and all the algorithms with Google and all that stuff to try to get the word out there, right? So when people Google, because that's the thing, roofer near me, you want that to pop up on the top of the list, but there's many other ways of marketing and getting your name out there to close up that gap with the touch points. We talk about touch points at times too, where it's, my theory is 11 to 13 touch points before somebody would call you if they didn't know of you, right? So we try to close that gap. You know what I mean? We try to show up everywhere and be everywhere. So then we fill up that gap. So then we don't give them the opportunity to Google roofer near me. They're Googling PC Backer to get our phone number.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's my philosophy.
Right.
And the other thing about that is kind of like what you folks do here. When you're doing this podcast, you're being very visible and you're transparent in what it is that you're doing. I don't think too many people have to really look too far to find you guys or to know what you're about and what you have going on and what you specialize in. And when we're talking about some branding, that's what I'm trying to do with my personal brand as well, through my little, doing the networking group that I have here in Central PA. When doing this, trying to kind of do a little takeoff of what you're doing here with my little who's who with David Bruno. I'm putting myself out there. So, and by doing that, it's very difficult for me to hide behind the desk and not do what I say that I'm going to do and not back myself up, because I put myself out there.
Yes.
So, and that's very much what you
to become a punching bag or a glutton or for punishment, right? Like, by putting yourself out there, it's kind of like, hey, what you see is what you get. Unfortunately, we make mistakes, but I'm taking that risk, and we're going to come on here every single Wednesday night. But know that we are going to fix, repair, make, patch, whatever it takes to make that right. Because let's face it, we're only human. We all make mistakes, but there's definitely a topic within that a lot of people, I don't think, understand the personal brand. right? Because what that does, especially if you're consistent by putting yourself out there like you are now, you've become what's called an authority in your industry, right? People are going to listen to what you're saying, right? Because you become that authority and you're knowledgeable. So they're going to listen to what you have to say. They're going to search you out, seek you out, because hey, he knows what he's talking about. It's not just like the professional brand, which would be the TC Backer brand, but there's also what's called a personal brand, where we have become an authority in our market space, in our local community, where people will get on this actual podcast and start asking questions about like, hey, I have this, I have that. You guys give free quotes, because that's what has happened because of the personal brand.
And that's kind of my goal here is, because I feel as though I'm good at what I do within the organization. But with the personal brand, my hope is that when people think of LocaliQ or the USA Today, that they'll kind of equate that to some degree, depends on where they are and where I've put myself out there, that they'll, my name will be in their thought process as well.
Of course.
Not only are they thinking about LocaliQ and USA Today, but they're like, oh, that's that Bruno guy. I've seen him here and there. That's kind of what I'm trying to do. And I think that's what you gentlemen are accomplishing by doing this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because every time you guys go to these trade shows now, I bet there's nobody in those places who has not seen you or heard of you or know who you are when they're there now.
Yeah, for sure. And it's been huge, and the leaps and bounds of what it has really done is one of many things, but for me, one of the most important things that it has done is it has spread our culture across the country, from here to Florida, over to Texas, up to Utah. It has spread. Like we're opening up other locations where people are asking to want to join the team. Like, hey, I live over here, I live over there. What do you think about opening up a location here? We have other roofing contractors that actually want to come work for us and keep their location open. So it's done so much. And I mean, like I said, that's just one thing in the partnerships that we've developed with products, right? Whether it be Roofle, Travis, and Michael Goldenstein. Those guys we're on tour every single stop that we were at. Those guys were at. So we got to network in partnership with those guys, and they have a great product, right? So that we're using now, and they actually gave it to us to try. Like, here, just try this for us. You know what I mean? And they've been around for a minute, and so we're trying it. You know what I mean? No obligation. Hey, you're a great guy. We want, you're a great company. We love what you stand for. And it's like, well, the feeling's mutual. We feel the same way about you. We'd love to try your product. You know what I mean? So it's done things like that. It's created relationships with individuals and companies and networking. Lead Scout, Hook Agency, Tim Brown. We might as well give a big shout out to our sponsors, Hook Agency, Hook Better Leads with Tim Brown at hookagency.com. Lead Scout, reach out to Chris or Joe over there at leadscoutapp.com. And then roofle.com makes roofing simple.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Get an instant quote, basically.
Yeah. Another cool thing that happens with the whole podcast and networking thing, there's actually been a couple different instances where either someone from another state, like let's just say someone from Florida, has a relative that lives in Pennsylvania that, has something that, that they need work done or something like that. And it's like, you may not know who to recommend living the whole way down there. You want your relative to be treated properly. Well, you build a relationship with us, we got you. Yeah. And vice versa. Yeah. We have, I'll shout out to our mechanic that works on some of our vehicles. He had a house down in Florida that got hit with that hurricane that hit. And we hooked him up with Deshaun down in Florida and got him taken care of. So it's like, you also build relationships with other trustworthy contractors that you meet by doing these things. And it kind of gives you the comfort of knowing that, you can be 1,000 miles away and that person's still going to be taken care of.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure, man. Yeah, it's all good stuff. I mean, who would have thought that this podcast would have taken off as much as it has, and it contributes to just the consistency of us coming back each week and doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, and then finally finding some kind of success. And I don't know what success we were looking for, because this at first was just a platform for us
trying to sell some damn gazebos
to market our charitable events throughout the community. And here we are later bringing, awesome friends
Yeah.
now on the show. He's been on the show quite often, and our new friend Jeff, the stranger guy here, the weirdo with the cowboy hat on.
The marketing gunslinger.
That's right, the marketing gunslinger.
Yeah, I want to
that's
hear
right.
this gunslinger story, man.
Yeah, let's hear this.
Why do they call you the marketing gunslinger?
Well, because that's the title I gave myself.
Oh, okay. So
In
that's
my
that
head,
self-proclaimed
mine-
gunslinger.
I had, I spent a lot of time reading, and I came across this term. And of course, I've always been a huge fan of westerns,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I thought, wow, that's a great term.
Yeah.
And you know, it suited me, and I tried to put some definition to what a marketing gunslinger is,
Okay.
so that at least it meant something.
Right. So what's your definition of a marketing gunslinger?
Well,
Is it? Wait a minute now. Wait. So you're self-proclaiming yourself. I'm just fucking. I'm just fucking.
Self-proclaimed.
Yeah, I'm just fucking. It doesn't
Central
count.
Pennsylvania, yes.
It doesn't count, man. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No, I mean other people that have used it. I just felt it suited me.
Right.
As far as the short answer to what a marketing gunslinger is we don't worry about the other guys. We let them worry about us.
There you go.
Okay.
You know.
I like
Yeah,
that.
I like that. And see, when you come up with things like that, and it's okay to self-proclaim yourself, it shows me and tells me that when you're in the zone like that, like you need like that, like I'm slinging right now, like
Yeah.
you're just banging on all 8 cylinders. So I
Get out
can
of the way,
feel
I'm gonna
that.
run you over.
Right. Like I
Yeah.
can feel that. Unfortunately, when you're blazing that trail, there are going to be people that end up in your way.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're out there
Casualties
blazing,
of war, my friend.
that's right. You know what I mean? And that's, yes. You know what I'm saying? Real warfare here, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So no, I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. So what are you doing now? Let's get back to you here a little bit. What is it? So do you still work for that company part-time,
No,
full-time?
I now work for a company called Pointsolve, based out of Jonestown, Pennsylvania. We are a full-service IT company.
Mm-hmm.
We provide a full array of services from cybersecurity to IT consulting to infrastructure, network, IT business services, and we are not seasonal. You know, our clients' needs are, 24/7, 365.
Yeah.
So it's a great company. I love working with my colleagues.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a new challenge for me too. So I'm in a different industry, and I put a lot of work and tried to plan out how I was going to move forward with my own strategy for the company, and it's been a blast.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so what is it? I think I missed exactly what it is that you're doing right now.
We provide IT services for businesses.
Okay, IT services, like meaning like if their computer crashes or more security or
Yes.
okay, all of that. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, cool. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that I had my head wrapped around exactly what it was that you did, because I scrolled your Facebook page real quick
Okay.
and I spaced out on the Batastic, that kind of stuff with me a little bit.
He's
But no.
creative with his posts there.
Yeah, no,
Very
it's good too. It's good
Yeah.
too. And I almost put your face up when I was going to pull it up, screen share your mug shot that you had up there, and because I saw Zach busted on Bake about his filter, so I was going to throw your picture up there to show everybody what. No, I'm just kidding.
He's like, did he?
Yeah, he did. But okay, so.
Exactly.
So I got a question. I don't know if this is for both of you guys or not, but it's like, in every industry, I guess, like right now, I guess there's and I hate to even bring this up, but it's kind of like, okay, so for like the longevity of a company, let's not even worry about like what might be happening in the world today. All right, let's just talk about like, the sustainability. And I thought about this because of our conversation today, Chris.
Mhm.
This is, to be around for 15 years. It's like that just doesn't happen. Right? Like there's a lot of fight, like it's a constant fight. It's an up and down, and you can't let up. So it's kind of like, I was thinking to myself, David, about you. And I knew you were in the marketing space at one point in time. And it's like, dude, like as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as a manager, as a leader of a company, it's like, first and foremost, once you get to a certain size, you have to surround yourself around people that understand what it takes for the longevity of the people, right? And I'm kind of getting off track here a little bit, but I was thinking to myself, like, have you felt something like obviously, like in any industry right now, you need to hold on to what you got. Plus, you need to search for other opportunities and stuff. Have you felt like that has been happening to you? And if so, like, what have you done to like kind of shield yourself from that, being in the different industry that we're in? Does that make sense? My question.
I'm trying to figure out what you're going for there. I was trying to.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to be delicate. It's like, okay, so like there's recession looming,
Yes.
right? Okay, I
So
just
you're
said it.
looking to have your business be future proof.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like not just us, as I know what it takes. Like I know that, but there's a lot of guys that don't understand that. All right. Especially if you've been in business for the past 3 or 5 years, they don't have the experience to keep up the fight. Right. Like it's now time to go on vacation for 6 months and start buying houses and trucks.
Well, it's very similar. Like if you go back to like the pandemic.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good time because the pandemic went on about what? Strong for a year.
Yeah.
Really about a year and a half, almost crept up on 2 years.
Mhm.
So the people who said, hey, we're just going to bail out, not invest in keeping our name out there.
Yes.
Just jump back into it when things clear up.
Yes.
Those are the people that really were challenged
Mm-hmm.
because the folks that said, well, hey, people might not be doing things right now but it doesn't mean there was a lot of research going on. People are still looking for things. And if you're not there to be seen and you're only there when things are looking good, people remember that.
Mm-hmm.
I think in a lot of ways. And for instance, just like right now, when we just were talking about the car, I got there. One of the car dealerships I was looking at, a number of them, they just arbitrarily threw on an additional $7,000-8,000 just because they could, above and beyond what the manufacturers recommended. Just because they could, because inventories were there,
Right.
or not there.
It's like, you want this car, pay this money.
Correct. But now the place that I got mine, they didn't do that.
Mhm.
And it just goes a long way. I mean, the deals were still not like they used to be.
Mhm.
However, there was not that additional gouging going on there.
Yeah.
And when I talked to the representative, they're like, hey, we understand that when this goes away, inventories are going to be coming back. We're going to have to back off of this. The people who were looking for the vehicles during this, when they were throwing the additional $7,500, $8,000 on there, they're going to remember that. And so that's the very same way. So, I mean, you keep your name out there, you keep what you do and your focus out there steady Eddie as you go.
Yeah.
People recognize that and they remember that.
Right.
You're not going anywhere.
So,
You're not changing
okay,
things. You're not
let
taking
me-
advantage of the situation.
Let's circle back here a little bit. I think I got my mind together here to ask you this question correctly. So you're you're in an industry, right? And shit, I just lost my train of thought again. But okay. So what have you done? So if there's any marketing companies or persons out there watching right now, right? Like what have you done yourself? Because you have to be feeling it too, right? Like just like our phone may have slowed down. Now, fortunately, it hasn't. There's been things that we've done and we've prepared for these things, right? So what has a marketing guy like yourself, because you know as well as I do, over the winter months, I think a lot of people tend to peel off. Let's cut out the pandemic. Let's forget about that. Let's forget about the looming economic thing that might be happening, right? What have you not felt it? What would you recommend to other marketing agencies like the Tim Browns and the Michael Stearns? Like I think everyone has to feel it at some point in time, whether it's seasonal, whether it's a pandemic, whether it's a recession.
Yeah, and every company and every business and every industry is probably going to handle those things differently to prepare for those things.
Yeah, for sure.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So what have you done? Have you had to do anything, or are you just that goddamn good that you're in this bubble? You know what I mean? Or does it not affect marketing agencies like it would a service company? You know what I mean? Because you're more B2B, right?
Yeah, because what I'm doing
We're B2C.
is my focus is more, I've been spreading myself out a little bit more nationwide now on the home improvement and home services sectors. And so with that said, all around the same time frame, it's all very seasonal. So the nice thing though about what I'm able to do is I'm able to find other businesses that are not impacted by seasonality, or when the home improvement and home service companies are kind of in their slower phase, I can go ahead then and pivot to some of the folks who are they're picking up the pace a little bit. in
Right.
those off
So
seasons.
you would say not to stick with just one industry. You would say so you can go through those slower times,
Correct.
go seek out other industries that might be picking up during the slower season for a different industry.
Correct. Like for instance, finance.
Yeah.
You know, when I say I do home services and home improvement, I also focus on finance, so
Mhm.
banks, federal credit unions, things like that.
Okay.
Okay.
So, you know, all those things are dependent on like the housing industry and things like that. So we can focus on, you know, HELOCs and home equity lines of credit and things like that, where consumers are constantly looking for those things.
Mhm.
Like right now is a big time. So during the winter months, when home improvement and home services were a little bit slower, I was able to focus on, you know, the finance industry a little bit and target some of those folks as well and get that messaging out there in front of some of those consumers.
That makes sense.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Okay.
'Cause-
Did my question finally make sense?
I understood it the first time you said it.
Oh, okay. Well, I was having,
Guns
I
on
was,
your boy.
I was having, and like, I knew what I wanted to say, but I just couldn't verbalize what it was that I wanted to ask you because I know we're friends with a lot of marketing
Mhm.
agencies, and it has to affect every industry. I don't care at any given time, whether it be a seasonal thing, whether it be a climate thing. Like, what have you done to help shield yourself? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because obviously, no matter what you're doing, if you want to be successful, you got to work hard, right? It doesn't matter. And I know you're a hard worker. And I guess I was curious on like, what have you done to keep yourself out there and have your phone continuously keep ringing? And maybe let's give you a shot at this.
Well, I think maybe some of the things that I do as a marketing professional could translate easily to an entrepreneur.
Exactly.
I'm always out looking to see what the competition is doing, not to necessarily copy them, but to make an assessment of what I like in what they're doing, what they're missing, and what they're doing wrong. I try to couch a message that isn't so much based on what we do, but try to relate a situation that a business might have. Like today, for example, I put up a post on LinkedIn about businesses being agile and adaptable, which translates perfectly into being the kind of business that's going to be around for 15 or 20 more years because you learn how to shift quickly. And I think the other thing is too, and I can see even for marketers where they miss this, but for me, and in business, everything matters. Every post that I put up matters. I'm not just throwing things out there so someone can pay attention to it. I want them to, be able to look at a post of mine, get the point in 3 seconds, or go on and read a little more. I'm trying to cover both ends of it. And I think with a business, when you look at, we need to grow. Well, then pay attention to where your leads are coming from. Where are they not coming from? Hey, geez, you might have a tremendous market, let's say in Reddit. And or maybe all your leads are coming in from other areas, but nothing's coming from here, and it could be. So maybe you focus an effort on that to bring in more business. But it's when you pay attention to those little details, you start to create opportunities for yourself.
Great answer.
Yeah.
That was good. That was good. So be intentional, right?
Absolutely.
Be deliberate. Keep an eye out on where the leads are coming from, where they're not coming from. Switch that money over to where it's working. Take it away from where it's not working. That's good. That's good. I don't know why I thought that on the way here, because it's like, I guess I really wanted to know, like, what is everybody else doing? Not necessarily in our industry.
Yeah.
Because I kind of know probably what they're doing or what they're going to do or what they haven't done or
They should be
whatever.
doing.
Yeah, what they should be doing,
Mhm.
right? But I was just kind of curious for you, whatever reason I just thought that, or like, what has David done other than who's who?
Yeah. Those are a couple of the big things too. I've tried to put myself out there so that way when things do come around, I mean, the idea of that, and when Jeff mentioned about the posting on social media, I try and mix mine up. I mean, I'll put some business things on there, but then I'll also put a couple of personal things in there because really,
He's not implying that I don't.
right? No, I'm not, but it didn't specify that. But yeah, I just want people to know who I am. If I just littered everything that I post with just all my business and just tried to, peddle my wares out there all the time, just nonstop, I think that people would probably start to tune out after a while.
Yeah.
So that's why I'll check in for a vacation every now and then, or if not, if I'm out of town or something like that, I'll check in, let people kind of see what I'm about.
If I may, to compliment Dave, one thing that I see quite a bit, there are a lot of great professionals out there that do a fantastic job promoting their company, but they do nothing to promote themselves. And I think Dave does a fantastic job in promoting himself.
Yeah, that's very
And that
important.
has to have long-term benefits for him, because when Dave Bruno's name gets mentioned, it's going to resonate with people
Mhm.
because he is, as he puts it, putting himself out there.
Yeah.
And I think Dave's doing something that a lot of professionals don't bother doing. So essentially, from a branding standpoint, he's not trying to think outside the box. He created his own box. It's the Dave Bruno box.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to do. And like to your point, when things get slower and I see that might be happening or there's a potential of that, I just want people to be able to recognize me to where I can go to pull from.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm hoping to do. Not to mention, I have a lot of fun doing it.
Mhm.
Like you guys have a good time. You guys have really come to have a good time doing this
Mhm.
podcast. I'm having a great time doing that little who's who. I mean, I think it's fun.
Yeah.
I get to talk to people, whether I meet them at a coffee shop or go to their office or wherever the case is. And then the networking group that business professionals at Harrisburg and Central PA. We started up some networking meetings here. We did our first one last month. We've got one coming up in Lancaster this month. Going back to York for one coming up in May, and then we're just going to rotate them around the area.
Yeah.
We'll see if we can't get 30 to 40 plus people there.
Yeah.
Each of those and have a good
That's
time.
exciting.
Make it a great networking event. And people go there and craft some new relationships, talk
Mhm.
about some of the things they do, and people are able to put people together. That's good.
Yeah. Kudos to you for putting yourself out there like that, man. And
Mhm.
I just want to touch on something that you said, with you switching to and putting the more personal things into there. I think that's really important because I'm gonna plug Ken. He did a little training with our sales guys last week. And one of the things that stuck out to me is like, I was sitting in there and it was a sales training. Okay. I'm not a salesman, but he said, we're all salesmen, and in our entire life, you're always selling something. You're trying to sell someone on something, whether it's you're going to apply for a job, you're trying to sell yourself. I'm trying to tell my girl that, this is a good idea. I'm trying to sell my idea. You're trying to sell an idea to a boss, to a colleague, to a friend. You're always trying to sell yourself. So we're all salesmen in a way. And what do people, what do you sell? People don't do business with LocaliQ. If you're going to pick up a new client, they're not going to do business with LocaliQ because of LocaliQ necessarily. They're going to do business with David Bruno. You know what I mean? They're going to do business with Doug because they like Doug.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People are more prone to say yes to you because you listen to them, you build a relationship with them, and they trust you.
Yeah.
You, not necessarily your company. That's why, when we switch that whole, your people or your brand, it's because you take care of your people are going to take care of your customers.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And like they sell themselves. You know what I mean? You're selling your personal self out there to your clients. So it is super important that you build that personal brand so that people, when you go to, build that relationship with a prospective client, they may already know who you are and they may already know what you're about, what you believe in, what your core values are, and that kind of stuff. The things that are important.
And that's the thing, is because when they know me, then the only thing that's left is to be able to trust that, hey, the support and the backbone,
Right.
what I have, the team behind me that I have to do the things that I'm putting out there, or
Absolutely.
to help me to accomplish and achieve the things that I'm putting out there, to my clients and the people I'm trying to engage with. That's what it's about. So they'll come to me and they'll say, okay, well, we know you now, so what's the meat behind this to accomplish what you're telling us we can do.
For
We're
sure.
more apt to listen to that. To
Yeah.
actually want to know what that meat is behind there then.
Exactly. And why it's important, and whether you know this or not, and other people that aren't taking advantage of social media in those kinds of way, when you bring those people on, okay, so now you're sharing the stage with them and their audience, right? So when they get off that with you, they're sharing it to their social media platforms, which now you're getting visibility to their audience and vice versa. We had a situation, it was a great situation. We had somebody on the show, and his PR person came over to me, and she thanked me for allowing him to come on our show because now he's got she said, street cred.
Yeah.
And they actually used the moment that he was on our show for one of their paid ads.
Oh,
So you
awesome.
saw Behind the Tool Belt, you saw Hook Agency. Now, so that's the importance of this. So Hook Agency, like they're using our stage, right, to view to our audience, right?
Yeah.
But he also uses, and it wasn't Tim, but it was somebody else, and it was pretty interesting how that worked because we're sharing stages, which means we're sharing audiences, which means you have more reach, right? Plus,
Correct.
it's giving you street cred, for lack of better terms. So those people that you're bringing on there, it's like now they associate them with you and vice versa, right? Must be trustworthy. David was at Maple Donuts, right, the other day or today or yesterday, whatever day that was that you were at Maple Donuts, right? So now they kind of like, whether they take advantage of it or not and post that stuff on their social media platforms, that's on them. But there's an opportunity right there for them to share the stage with you and your audience.
Yeah, there are a number of people they've asked me, they said, well, how do you quantify that? Is there a monetary value to that? And I say, not directly. I said, there could be.
It's priceless.
I said, there could be. But I said, the main goal of this, it's two things. One, it's a personal branding for me, so where people can see how I engage with other people and how they engage with me. But the second one, and probably most important, is it's just a platform for these small business owners or colleagues that I work with, or just people that I'm a patron at their location, whether it be to pick up my dry cleaning or to grab a good meal or something like that. Whatever my sphere of influence and my network is worth to them, you know, it's just another avenue for them to promote what they do.
Of course, it's not
And
that
that's
different. It's not that different than outdoor advertising with billboards. You know, you get the analytics of how many impressions you're getting. If you're doing a 25 showing, it's the same thing with Dave. He's making impressions, and the more people he has a chance to do that with, you know, the greater the chance is that you know that business grows and his brand grows.
Yeah, for sure. It's important. And what's cool about today than what 10 years ago is that we can do this, and what you're doing is free. It costs you nothing. It costs them nothing to come on your show.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like more people should be doing it, especially times like right now, because we talk about compounding interest. You may not see it today, but tomorrow you're going to see that interest that you compiled.
Yeah, consistency.
Yeah, with the consistency of it. So it's cool that you're doing it, and it's cool that because you have given us, you know, a plug and a shout out, whether you meant to or not. That one time he actually,
the one time it was with Jeff there. We were at the event in Hershey, and when I was doing my who's who, I caught myself. I was getting ready to say Behind the Tool Belt because I had just watched you guys, you know, earlier on, and then I just caught myself and just kind of chuckled as I turned it back to me. But yeah. But that's again, there again goes to what you're doing. I mean, that's kind of embedded in my
the impact that we've had on you is cool to watch.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And not in a negative or arrogant type of way whatsoever. It's cool that it's, you know, has influenced you enough to or encourage you to do it. And that's what's cool to watch is the impact that we've had, you know, not just entertaining and educating, but the impact that this platform has given us, you know, whether it be on a local level or on an industry level or a regional level. It's fun. This has been fun. And it really is that what we've done, and we've just taken it to a national level recently. And it's been fun doing that as well. I mean, it's been tiring. And like I told you earlier, I started to get a little bit burnt out because especially in Utah, I had the Fearless 44. I was going live. Right. I'm trying to quit smoking cigs. I'm exercising. You know what I mean? Like I was getting burnt and I had a decision to make, right? Either I'm going to quit smoking today because today's the day 21, which I will never do that again. You know, is today my day? It's going to be the last cigarette. And it was like, no, it's not. I'm going to just start Fearless 44 over. Now, a bunch of people called me up and was like, listen, you were quitting. You're quitting.
Yeah.
So you didn't meet your goal, so keep going. I was like, nah, I just didn't feel right. Like it was tearing me up. But there was so much impact that we had. Our stuff didn't even show up to Utah, but thank God we had 2 flight cameras and a backdrop, right? So that's weighing on me. You know what I mean? Like we don't even know. Like the equipment that you see here is what we shipped. We had no idea where the hell it was. Okay, so that's weighing on me. But again, the hard work that we put into this thing and the stress and the uncomfortability of it, right? Like could been very easily to just give up and quit. Right? Like I don't need this shit. I don't need this stress in my life today. Right. But we chose to continue to forge through it. And I decided, you know what, this is not a good time to quit smoking cigs, but I'm going to continuously work on my diet and work out and
today.
Yeah. And do something different. I'm going to put something different this time. And we did it. We got through it. We ground through it. And we, again, met a lot of good people, made new relationships and strengthened existing relationships, like with Elizabeth Casadilla, Deshaun Bryant was there, Erica was there at Door-to-Door Con. Like, so we've strengthened those relationships, plus made new relationships of people that we met on the tour again that I never thought I would see again. But there was a gentleman that was in Fort Lauderdale that came back on the show, and to listen to his growth and the impact that we had when we met him and motivated him in ways that he shared with me on the side, like, was cool.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like that stuff.
Yeah.
That this is why we do it, and we didn't even know. It's like that's why we keep doing it.
Well, that's like for that short time you guys had me down there with you at the RoofCon back in
Yes.
October. That was great.
Mhm.
I mean, I really appreciated that. That was some good stuff. And some of those little breakout sessions and all that. I found those very impactful, and that's a good group of people, and it gives me just a total different respect and a different overview and outlook on the roofing industry as a whole. Just to see the different types of businesses and the different type of people that are involved.
Yeah. It's definitely not what your average person would think if you say, I'm a roofer. You know what I mean? It has a bad stigma to it. Usually we're drunks, alcoholics, uneducated. This was our last option. And you know what? For a lot of us, that's probably what's true at one point in time. But this industry is full of beautiful people, man. Smart, super smart, great people.
That is a fantastic point. And I just wanted to interject right here, just based on my experiences of watching some of the older shows, when you've had guests that are from the industry, the impression that I've gotten some of the episodes that I've seen was the enthusiasm for what they do.
Yeah.
Now, that's priceless.
Yeah.
That is the kind of thing that people see. That's what they connect with. I think your representatives and this company has that enthusiasm. People want to do business with people that they can see love what they do.
Yeah. Very true.
Yeah, man, and we do love this stuff. Cool. As always, I'm sure we got to be getting close here.
Yep.
We have 57 minutes.
Yep.
So let's shout out our sponsors one more time. We'll do a couple shout outs of our loyal listeners and viewers here. I see Dan Barker's in there, but big shout out to roofle.com, Roofing Made Simple, Lead Scout app.com, and then Hook Better Leads with Tim Brown at hookagency.com, who was an early adopter of us and bought in and thought he loved what we did. And of course, TC Backer, we appreciate our entire TC Backer family and TC Backer companies. We love you guys. Thank you for always supporting us. We wouldn't be able to do what we do without you guys. So Zach Fisher and Dan Barker. Dan is chirping in there a good bit tonight. Chris Bake, I see him in there. He's here with us. Vic, I don't see you here watching. No wonder our viewers is low.
I'm up there.
Viewership
I'm up there.
is low. Of course, I can't see. That's what's cool about what our platform that we use. We actually are looking at all of the comments on every single page and platform that we're posting on. So that's what's cool about that up there. So I should have probably looked at that there.
And I can see that Dan Barker, as you mentioned, he certainly is always good for commenting on my hair and my.
My man wants to cut your hair so bad.
Yeah, and we took it easy on you guys tonight. I figured Jeff's first episode, we do want you back, so I didn't give you a super wedge the first night that I met you.
Next time.
Next time. We'll be in the Smash Lab, so we can with paintball guns and
Yeah.
If we're doing that, I'm bringing my whole Hogan gear.
yeah.
Do it. Oh yeah, brother.
Ric Flair's my favorite.
Yeah, that's why he's got the woo. I also,
Yeah, it's my man. I used to drink them when I was out there. Ric Flair's
Ric Flair's.
orange Stolies vodka with Red Bull, of course.
and
Yeah.
real quick,
That's
before
why I
we go,
can't drink regular Red
You guys
Bull.
got to let you know that the best of York
Yes.
coming around, voting round is coming
Yeah,
up in
man.
about another 3 weeks. So
Yes.
obviously vote for TC back.
Vote
Those
for
votes
us.
in, vote.
Put votes in. Let's do
Lots
this.
of different categories.
And
Yeah,
we're
there
getting
is.
a lot more engagement on this this contest as it's online. So we're getting a lot more engagement. People are really liking the online nomination and voting ballots.
Yeah.
So we're seeing
Yeah,
a lot
awesome.
more play with that than what we have in the past, and it's just continuing to grow. So
Good.
good stuff.
Good for you. Good for us.
Absolutely.
So Jeff, what do you want to leave the crowd with here? You got a golden nugget that you want to leave us with?
Well, I'd just like to say that that our company strives to understand what our clients' objectives are. And no matter what business, if we understand where you want to take your business, we can play a part in that.
Awesome. And what the hell is it that you do?
Hey, my company sells attachment.
Okay.
We sell the experience that our clients value.
And what's the best way to contact you?
The easiest way to contact me is to reach me on LinkedIn.
Okay.
My contact information's there. You can send me an email, call me directly.
Okay. So what's the website and what's your handle on LinkedIn?
You mean my headline?
Yeah. What's your handle?
It's
You go
Marketing
by.
Gunslinger, Business Evangelist, and One Man Army.
There you go. And
There we
what's
go.
the website?
Oh, it's www.pointsolve.com.
Nice. Pointsolve.com.
Yep.
Pointsolve.
Boom.
One word.
And then me on LinkedIn, I am making marketing fun. That's just me.
There you go.
Fun.
On LinkedIn.
Yes.
Is that supposed to be now? Is that
I
coming
love
back?
LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn.
Really?
I think-
It never went away?
Never went away. I think LinkedIn's good. I think it's a
Right on.
good platform.
Right on.
But again, I always appreciate you guys having me on here. It's always
Yeah.
a blast.
It is.
And,
Chris, you want to leave us with something? You gotta have something
I'm gonna
good.
let my kids say bye.
There you go.
You guys hear me every week. Say bye to everyone.
Bye.
That's right. That's good, man. Episode 172 in the books. Next week will be episode 173. Steven Spence with Project Map It will be in the
I'm
house.
looking forward to that one.
Yeah, that'll be a good one. Steven's coming up to train our sales guys on how to use his product. So he'll be here next week for episode 173 of Behind the Tool Belt, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be there or be square.
Thanks again, guys.